How can a therapist help me drive? In this video, I'm going to be answering that question because I understand that if you've got driving anxiety and you're having panic attacks whenever you drive and you feel like your palms are sweating and you feel this need to pull over and call someone to come and help you, well, it can seem really weird and it's baffling. And when someone suggests you go and see a therapist, that can just confuse you even more. So let me explain. My name is Paul and I work online with people all over the world to help them overcome their fear of driving. I spent over 20 years as a driving instructor, and during that time I never once ever thought that anyone that came to me would need therapy. Like most people, I thought that it was all about driving, and if you couldn't drive, you just need to drive more and you'll get better at it, right? Wrong. You see, driving isn't the problem. As I always say in my videos, driving anxiety has nothing to do with driving. So what this is that you have another problem in your life which is simply coming out as driving anxiety. Now this problem can be anything. It can be any kind of fear, phobia. It can be caused by relationships, past events. It can be the way you're thinking about something. It can be something currently going on in your life, and I'll give you some examples in a moment of what it can be. But it's crucial that you understand this because, unfortunately, there are many self-proclaimed experts out there who don't know what they're talking about, and they just feed misinformation to people, which makes the problem worse. If you look around online, you'll see videos from driving instructors, and they've got thumbnails of them sitting on the floor in the lotus position, going, And in their videos, they will tell you all you need to do is breathe better and have a purpose to your journey, and make sure you have a good night's sleep the night before, and make sure you've got a positive feedback loop so it's all positive. That stuff is all rubbish from people who don't know what they're talking about. But unfortunately, their videos get many views, and then people start sharing them saying, hey, this is it, this is what you need to do. And it's all just misinformation from amateurs who don't know what they're doing. Compare that to me. I've been working with anxious drivers for over 20 years, including 4 years online since 2019. And I've worked with hundreds of people all over the world, America, Australia, Europe, all over the place. And I know that what I do works. So let me explain exactly what this is, because many people don't get the link. They say, look, I still don't get this. I don't understand. Why do I need a therapist? Why can't I just drive? Why can't I just go out and do this exposure therapy? Right, exposure therapy doesn't work, because what that's saying is you've got a problem driving. So the way you fix it is to go out driving. If you could fix a problem by doing what causes the problem, you wouldn't even have the problem. Let's take an example of someone who is having trouble sleeping. It's hilarious when people can't sleep and you get these experts who say, well, I think you'll feel much better after a good night's sleep. Just go and have a lie down and you'll feel much better in the morning. They completely miss the whole point. If you could just sleep, you wouldn't have a problem sleeping. If you could just drive, you wouldn't have a problem driving. So going out and doing driving lessons and exposure therapy will do nothing. And this is where the therapist comes in. What a therapist will do is will work with you to discover what the true cause of your problem is. And I'll give you an example now. I worked with somebody once who was in a very unhappy relationship, and it was fairly obvious from the beginning. Even if you weren't a therapist, you would have been able to tell that that was the cause of all their stress and anxiety, because I said from the start, I'm in this really unhappy relationship, it's ruining everything. But this is where a therapist can help you, because we had to dig down. What it came down to is that it transpired this person could only drive their car when they were with their partner. Now, can you guess what the problem was from that? Now, it may not be obvious at all, and this is why you need a therapist. You see, what was happening is the only reason they were staying with their partner was because they helped them to drive, and that was it. And this person said to me, if I could drive without them, we'd get divorced. And that was the cause of their problem. You see, their mind subconsciously was giving them driving anxiety because it meant they then needed this person in their life because they'd been together for years, and their mind thought that this relationship was healthy for them. Now, it gets much deeper than that. I won't talk about this in great detail, or I could be here for an hour or two. But quite simply, their driving anxiety was actually brought into existence so that it would keep them in a relationship, even though that relationship was toxic. Now, a driving instructor would never have found that. If you just went out driving, and you can say, oh, we're going to go and do a lesson on bridges and a lesson on high-speed roads, and it would all be fine, you wouldn't find that problem because you're not even looking in the right place. And even if you found it, you wouldn't know what to do with it. This is why you need a therapist to help you overcome driving issues. You see, it's got nothing to do with driving. And this is where everybody, including myself, are falling into this trap. Everybody says, but I haven't got any problems in my life. I know exactly everything that's happened to me, and I've never had these problems, and I'm not in a bad relationship. I can guarantee you that if you have driving anxiety, you have a problem that you are unaware of. Another really important point to understand is that because driving anxiety is caused by another problem, we're not even really fixing the driving anxiety anyway. Sometimes people do a session and say, well, I went out to drive and it didn't work, I still couldn't drive. No, remember, the driving is a symptom of another problem. So your driving anxiety will only go when you have fixed that other problem. So sometimes the other problem can take months. I've known it where people have emailed me a year after we've worked together and they've only just resolved the real problem, and then the driving anxiety will go. And that's why you need a therapist to help you drive. Although driving instructors might mean well, and with all the best intention in the world, they want to help you, but they simply don't understand this stuff. All they see, as all I used to see when I was an instructor, was just, well, driving is about driving, so we're going to drive and do driving lessons and just breathe and be calm and relax. You are a million miles away from fixing a fear of driving if you're doing that. Watch these other videos on the screen for more help overcoming your fear of driving, and if you'd like to work with me online, one-to-one, from anywhere in the world, contact me through my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.